the superpower of my world for hundreds of years. There were sorcerer lords there who controlled certain dark magics, blood magic, and fire magic, pyromancy. And one of the things they had was dragons, and there were great Dragonlord families that bred and controlled dragons and flew them into battle, and they competed for primacy within a structure not dissimilar to the Roman Republic, where a certain number of great families controlled everything, and most of the rest of the known world could not stand against the Valyrians. Even when they had larger armies, the Valyrian advantage of dragons was too great to overcome. But 400 years ago, the Doom came, the Doom of Valyria, and the entire freehold of Valyria was wiped out overnight. And the Dragonlords and hundreds of dragons with it. The Targaryens had been one of the families, one of the oligarchy, but they had had a premonition that something like this had come, and they had resettled to the Dragonstone island off the coast of Westeros sometime before the Doom came to Valyria, and thereby avoided that, and it left them after a relatively short period with the only effective dragons in the world, and Aegon and his sisters.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire video. In this video, I will be discussing the rise and fall of Valyria in George R.R. Martin's book, A Song of Ice and Fire. If you're new to this channel, kindly subscribe and turn on the notifications in order not to miss any of our amazing videos. The story of the Valyrian Freehold is a magnificent tale of a humble civilization that rose to become the greatest power in the known world, only to be utterly destroyed in a single day of fire and blood. Its legacy, from the last Dragonlords to the treasured Valyrian steel, continues to shape the world centuries after its fall. The story of the rise and fall of Valyria are both beyond human imagination, and in the books, Maesters claimed that long before it became an empire, the Valyrian Peninsula was home to modest and peaceful people who lived as shepherds. They lived modestly and were always reserving 10% of their produce to their overlords, mostly from the free cities, who came around periodically to collect taxes. They were not warriors to battle the conquerors, who came to enslave their sons and take their daughters to fill the pleasure houses in the free cities. They lived this way for centuries, sometimes in famine and other times in droughts. What transformed their destiny was the chain of 14 immense volcanoes known as the 14 Flames that dominated their land. The Valyrians discovered dragons layering within these fiery mountains. Through a combination of bravery, cunning, and burgeoning sorcerous power, they did not merely slay the beasts, rather, they found a way to tame and bind them to their will. This was the pivotal moment that turned a society of shepherds into the masters of the ultimate weapon of war. The Valyrians soon mastered the art of raising and training dragons, turning them into devastating instruments of conquest. As the Valyrians' power grew, they inevitably attracted the attention of the established power in the region, the old empire of Gis, a slaver society with a highly disciplined, lockstep legionary army. Gis saw the rising freehold as a threat and moved to crush it. The two powers clashed in a series of 5 great wars. The Giscari legions, though formidable, were no match for Dragonfire. The Valyrians won the first 4 wars, and during the 5th and final war, they marched on the Giscari capital of Old Gis itself. The city was razed to the ground, its great pyramids and temples drowned in dragon flame. The Valyrians were so thorough in their destruction that they sowed the fields with salt and sulfur to ensure nothing would ever grow there again. The old empire of Gis was obliterated, and Valyrians adopted and expanded upon its practice of slavery, using countless captives to mine the wealth of the 14 Flames and build their great cities. With Gis destroyed, the Valyrian Freehold began a period of massive expansion, becoming the dominant civilization in the known world. At its height, the Freehold's territory stretched across most of Essos. The Valyrians were not kings or emperors. Their realm was an oligarchy, a freehold ruled by powerful noble families known as the Lord Freeholder. The most powerful among them were the Dragonlords, about 40 families who possessed and rode dragons. Their civilization was one of immense power and advanced sorcery. They used magic and slave labor to build great cities with topless towers and raise fused stone roadways that connected their vast territories. Their smiths used spells to forge Valyrian steel, a magical alloy that yielded weapons of legendary strength and sharpness. The Valyrians themselves were known for a distinct and striking beauty, often possessing silver, gold, or platinum hair and purple eyes, traits they preserved through customs like incestuous marriages. The Freehold established numerous colonies, many of which grew into the powerful free cities of the modern era, such as Volantis, Pentos, and Lys. Their western expansion eventually brought them into conflict with the Rhoynar, a sophisticated civilization of riverfolk led by their legendary warrior queen, Nymeria. In a series of conflicts known as the Rhoynish Wars, the Valyrians deployed their dragons once more, ultimately defeating the Rhoynar and forcing Nymeria to lead her people in a great exodus across the sea to Dawn. For nearly 5,000 years, the Valyrian Freehold prospered, its power seemingly unassailable. However, its end was foreshadowed. 12 years before the calamity, a daughter of a minor Dragonlord family named Daenerys Targaryen, who later became known as Daenerys the Dreamer, had a powerful dream of the destruction to come. Heeding her warning, her father, Lord Enar Targaryen, moved his entire household, his 5 dragons, and his properties from Valyria to the distant windswept outpost of Dragonstone in the Narrow Sea. Legends believed Enar Targaryen was so sure of his daughter's dream that he auctioned many of his properties he could not bring with him at an incredibly low rate, to the surprise of the buyers. That was because Daenerys had the destruction dream, with 2 other different sets of dreams, and the other 2 came to pass exactly as narrated by Daenerys the Dreamer. This decision to sell his properties and move to Dragonstone was seen as an act of cowardice by other Dragonlords, and would eventually save their house from oblivion in 12 years to come. In the year 102 BC, the catastrophe struck. The doom was a calamity of an unspecified nature that utterly destroyed the Valyrian peninsula. Every hill for 500 miles exploded, filling the air with ash, smoke, and fire that was hot enough to kill even dragons. Massive earthquakes shattered palaces, temples, and entire towns. Lakes boiled or turned to acid, and the 14 Flames sent molten rock 1,000 feet into the air. The very land was shattered, fragmenting the peninsula into a chaotic chain of smaller islands and creating the smoking sea between them. A great tsunami wiped out the settlements of Velos and Gozai on the nearby Isle of Cedars. The city of Valyria, the heart of the greatest civilization in the world, was gone in an instant, along with almost all its people, its dragons, and its vast stores of knowledge, spells, and recorded history. Theories of the Doom and a cursed land. To this day, the true cause of the Doom is debated. It is commonly believed to have been a natural volcanic catastrophe. However, other theories persist. Some septons believe the Valyrians' polytheism and dark arts led them to delve too deep into the 7 hells. Septon Barth, a learned man, theorized that the Valyrian spells which were used to control the fires of the 14 flames somehow faltered. Others cite the curse of the defeated Prince Garin of the Rhoynar, or believe the fire of the Lord of Light, Halor, struck the Freehold. The ruins of Valyria became a demon-haunted, blighted land. The doom was not a single event, but a curse that continues to rule the area. The seas there boil and smoke, and the sky is forever red. Those foolish or brave enough to journey there rarely return. The Dragonlord Orion, who declared himself Emperor of Valyria and marched a host toward the ruins, vanished without a trace. Princess Arya Targaryen, who flew there on Balerion a century later, returned dying, infested with horrific, worm-like creatures that Septon Barth believed were remnants of Valyrian blood magic. To this day, it is said that the doom still rules in Valyria. The fall of the Freehold plunged Essos into chaos during the Century of Blood, where the free cities fought for dominance. The Dothraki hordes began their conquests from the Central Plains, and the cities of Slaver's Bay, which was terrorized by the Valyrians, regained their independence to this day, until Daenerys Targaryen arrived there 3 centuries later to reconquer Meereen. Let us know what you guys think down below. Thank all of you for watching this video. We'll see you again very soon. Bye.